Welcome back. My name is Doug Tabor, and this is your rental market update for Knoxville, Tennessee, May 2025. The Marble City. What a beautiful place to visit. You know, if you watched my last show, I spent about 2 weeks in my RV with my wife, my dogs, and believe it or not, our cat, cruising through the Southeast. And we spent several weeks in Tennessee. And boy, once we got to Knoxville, we just found a beautiful little RV park that had a spot available right on the Tennessee River. We were able to wake up in the morning and look over the waterway, and it was just a gorgeous spot. The beautiful trees, the landscape. And if you've been to Tennessee, you know the people are wonderful, they're nice, the food is delicious, and boy, oh boy, those tax advantages of no state income tax and low property taxes. I can see why many folks are moving to Tennessee. Let's jump into the update. Knoxville MSA has a population of just under 1,000,000, 947,608 people. It's growing at 4% annually. So there's definitely some growth, and you can see it when you get there. There's traffic showing up. A lot of places we went that we had to wait in lines. There was noticeable traffic. And of course, with that kind of growth, you have a lot of construction. So we did see that quite a bit. There's a median individual income of $62,167, and that's a 5% year over year increase. So wages are going up in Knoxville. Wonderfully low unemployment rate, 3.3%. That has gone up 20 basis points over the last year. So year over year increase of 20 bips, but 3.3% really falls right within that range of where a city or a MSA is most productive. Again, as I mentioned, state property tax in the area. Now, there are some additional taxes in Knoxville, so you have to be careful when you purchase there. But through bond measures and different things, I was told by one of our friends there that you do pay higher taxes in the city proper of Knoxville. State income tax for the state of Tennessee, of course, is zero. There is no income tax. And the 12-month job growth is a 1% increase in the amount of jobs that are out there. The largest employer, believe it or not, is the U.S. Department of Energy. And I was wondering why, but it turns out that there's a community called Oak Ridge, which may sound familiar. Oak Ridge is one of the two communities where they built the atomic bomb back in World War II. And they still have a large nuclear facility. So they have a lot of Department of Energy employees there. And so you get, of course, those high-paying Department of Energy jobs. They are the largest employer with 15,862 employees. The top 10 employers include Department of Energy, Covenant Health, the University of Tennessee, which, boy, oh boy, what a beautiful place that is. Downtown Knoxville is gorgeous, and the University of Tennessee is right in the center of it. And it is a very clean and lovely downtown. We really enjoyed our time there. Knox County Schools, Walmart stores, University Health System, Denso Auto Parts Manufacturing, Clayton Homes, the Dollywood Company, which we did not go to, but we stayed near the Dollywood Company when we went over to Pigeon Forge. And boy, she's really got a stamp on that place. Another beautiful location. And then the state of Tennessee. That rounds out the top 10 employers in the Knoxville area. I did some research on Indeed to find out about job postings, and there were over 11,000 full-time job postings at the time of this research, which again was May 2025. And I also like to look at what the amount of job postings that are above the median income. And there are currently over 3,000 job postings above the median income. You know, with an unemployment rate of 3.3% and job postings, Knoxville MSA is definitely a place where someone can go and get a job if they want one. Let's talk about the housing statistics for Knoxville MSA. The vacancy rate relatively in line at 5.1%. You know, that's a good vacancy rate. That's kind of a rule of thumb vacancy rate. That's what banks like to use when they're underwriting properties. So really strong vacancy rate there in Knoxville. The average asking rent for a single family rental property is $1,700. Now, that is a 11% year over year decrease. And the reason is because they are just building in Knoxville like all of these other other cities. So you're seeing a decrease in rents by 11%. That's pretty significant. Certainly something to keep an eye on. The sentiment on the cost of living there is 7% lower than the national average. So it's still a low-cost city. Plus, couple that with the tax benefits, and you've got really strong reason for folks, especially young people, to move there. Insurance cost ratings. Knoxville is $1,781 above the national average for the average $300,000 insurance purchase. 16th most expensive state in utility costs, so it kind of sits in the middle there. So let's talk about the single family market. The median home value for Knoxville MSA is $356,571. That's a 13% increase year over year. So home values are going up, though rents are coming down. If you multiply that, that's a 17 times gross on a purchase. The median days on market, 22 days. So they're building those houses and they're selling those houses. That's definitely a hot seller's market at 22 days. What about the multifamily market? The median price per unit in Knoxville is $183,750. You know, it's always difficult to find good data on multifamily, but the listed cap rate I was able to find through Crexi was 6.78%. And the median days on market is 113 days. You know, they're building a lot in Knoxville, especially on the multifamily side. They've had a lot of deliveries lately, and that's causing that median days on market to skyrocket, 113 days. That puts it almost into a buyer's market. I did not find a lot of inventory. The challenge with a lot of these markets is unless you're looking for 2 to 4 unit properties, you're not going to find a lot of the small apartment buildings that are available. There's a few of them, but there's not a whole lot. Is Knoxville a landlord-friendly MSA? There is currently no rent control in Knoxville, Tennessee. The eviction process is pretty short, 14-day pay or quit. There's no limit to security deposits, and there are no formal tenant boards. So yes, Knoxville is a landlord-friendly MSA. Hallelujah. So what are my personal thoughts on Knoxville, Tennessee? Well, if you like low taxes, a beautiful downtown, a lovely surrounding community, and you're looking to invest someplace where there's a low unemployment rate, Knoxville is definitely an MSA that you should look at. If you haven't been there, I highly recommend that you visit. You will fall in love with it as we did, and you'll see that there is growth happening. All of those positives are the reason why. That's my rental market for Knoxville, Tennessee. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so you can be notified of our next rental market update. If you're interested in learning more about what your exit strategy options are, sign into my 1-hour webinar at www.rentalmarketupdate.com. You'll find the link in the show notes below. And until next time, I'm Doug Tabor.